Hello, my name is Justine. I work with Plan Tracker. Plan Tracker are a nationwide plan and self-management organisation and community, and we are committed to supporting our participants and their families exercise choice and control over their NDIS plan. Today we have our third of our series of webinars with the Carer Gateway, and I'm joined by Yara from your side. And Yara heads up the Peer Support and Young Carers program through the Carer Gateway. Yara, I'd love you to introduce yourself, and also if you wouldn't mind providing an acknowledgement of country, because your side have the best acknowledgement that I've ever heard.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. My name is Yara Bloom. I work for your side in the Carer Gateway space, have been working with carers for the last 11 years. So it's been a great passion of mine. Thanks again for having me. And I'd like to start by doing our acknowledgement. So today I join you from the Darug land, the Yara Nation, and I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land where we live, work, play, and gather from today. We pay our respect and deep gratitude to the elders, their ancestors, and young people rising as elders on those lands. May our hearts and minds be open to the depth of knowledge they have of this land with their continued connection to country and family. May we learn to live and grow in great abundance. I recognise from the top leaves of the great gums to the root deep in Mother Earth, through our bushlands, vast landscapes, and our waterways, this is Aboriginal land, always was, always will be, never ceded.
Just so incredible. I could just listen to that all day. I really, really appreciate the effort and energy that has gone into your side's acknowledgement of country. I am presenting from Ghana land today, and I would just like to reflect everything that Yara just so eloquently put forward. So thank you, everybody. Welcome to our webinar for today. If you do have any questions for Yara in relation to young carers or the peer support program, please pop them in the comment box that you'll see through this Facebook Live, and we will do our very best to answer those questions today, and if not, we'll take them offline and ensure that they are answered in the very short future. Yara, so there's a couple of things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the peer support program, and we're going to talk about young carers. But what I would like to do first of all is talk about who is a young carer. Could you give us a brief definition of who is a young carer?
Yeah, so a young carer is basically anyone who's 25 years and under who's looking after a family member or a friend. They're unpaid, so it's a volunteer role. And the family member could have, or a friend could have, a disability, mental health, age-related condition, a cognitive impairment, any sort of health condition, and it doesn't have to be long-term. It can also be short-term condition.
Okay, fantastic. All right, and how does a young carer come to the Carer Gateway?
Yeah, so there are various ways to refer them. Often they're usually identified when the primary carer, which is the mum or dad, if it's a sibling who has these special needs, is, through conversation we realise, oh, do you have any other children? Oh, actually, I have a daughter who helps out at home. Oh, great, can we get her on board? But we do also get referrals from schools, school counsellors, social workers, anyone from the hospital who identifies a young person who's providing that additional need for somebody in the home. And sometimes that amazing young person is actually caring for the parent. And we often get that they caring for single parents or both parents with special needs or disability, or even just a mental health condition.
Yeah, okay. And this question we didn't talk about before, but what are the risks to a young carer?
Yeah, look, the disadvantages can vary depending on the level of care that they provide and how much they miss out of, whether it's that social interaction with their peers or, having those, I don't want to use the word normal, but, generic way of operating in a family dynamic. It also puts a lot of strain on their studies, and the social pressures to be able to go out. There's financial pressures that they face as well. So there's quite a lot. But on the upside, this can really be a real good personal development for them and give them some really long life skills. that they can
and
take.
you mentioned before that they'll often take a leadership role in different types of situations because that's sort of how they've grown up.
The beautiful thing you see is that carers don't just care at home. They develop this natural caring being in their everyday life. We take young carers away on camps, and often what we see is if one person is having a little bit of a hard time or struggling to engage, has fallen over, straight away everyone's got that supportive, encouraging space with, oh, come on, you can do this, we'll help you. And it's just really beautiful to see.
The young carers are actually really beautiful humans.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful. And so can more than one family member be considered a carer?
Yeah, anyone who's providing any support, and we have a young carer as young as 6 and 7, and the level of care is obviously a little bit different, but they too take on that extra responsibility. Okay, I'm going to fold the washing, I'm going to help mum prep them, I'm going to even just help my brother or sister who may be older than me at school.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So tell us a little bit about the Young Carers program.
So like I mentioned before, so the Young Carers program is for any young person providing that additional support who's under 25. And some of the support services we provide can be driving lessons to help you to get your driver's license, then that can help you to help out a bit more at home. Tutoring. So really, when you do start to fall behind at school, we can give you that additional tutoring. And these services are at no cost, which is just fabulous. So the tutoring can be in-home, it can be online, it's really flexible. We also run programs like school, holiday camps, day programs, anything that's fun that takes them away from that caring environment and gets them connecting with other young people who understand what they're going through. And we also do things like first aid, barista course, so anything that helps them in their long, resume writing for future education and employment.
That's incredible. And do you have a lot of young carers using your program at the moment?
Yeah, look, we have under 300 young carers at the moment that we service, but we do understand there are a lot more hidden carers that we would really love to be able to connect and support.
Okay, so if you were a young person, would your qualifying questions, I suppose, be, I do more than what would be considered appropriate for a person my age around the house, or it's very clear that I'm looking after somebody with a very clear disability? Or is it more about the impact? Do they need to be reflecting on the impact of their life as to how they think their life's being impacted, and that then makes them a carer and they should maybe speak to someone in the school? Or is there a little bit of like self-identification, or does somebody else make that identification for a young carer?
Look, we do go through a comprehensive assessment to help the young person identify what it is that they're doing, because it's not something people can measure. Sometimes if it's emotional and social, young people think, oh, mum's upset, I'm just having a talk to her, or I'm giving her some comfort. So it's not really easy for them to identify. But when they are referred, so if there is a person with special needs in the home, you just need to give us a call and we will help you identify what it is that you do through the series of questions that we ask.
Okay, great. All right, wonderful. And so does the peer support program sit in the Young Carers program, or is that a separate program itself?
It is separate. It is for adults, but we do obviously offer peer support for young people. But we want to we want young people to spend time with young people, and we want adults to spend time with adults, so they can connect with like-minded people and build that long-term connections, which we hope for.
Okay, cool. All right, so peer support goes across all age ranges.
Yeah, so we try and focus, so 25 and over is the peer support for adults.
Right.
And it's, there's no age limit, just minimum is 25, and anyone who's connecting and is caring for somebody, again, with a health condition, frail, mental health, whatever it may be, and it can be long-term or short-term illness, and we want to provide that additional support to them through the peer support service.
Okay, cool. And so how does the peer support service help carers?
Okay, so we run lots of programs. So our main core program is the facilitated peer support. So we basically create a peer support group, and we run through a series of sessions, and we take them out. We connect face to face, online, whatever. We try and really cater for the carers' needs. So we might have a mental health group, because carers of people with mental illness want to connect with other people with mental illness. So they share their knowledge and their experience, and maybe their hardship as well about caring for somebody with mental illness. So they feel, oh, actually somebody understands what I'm going through. I'm not alone in this. And other things we do are, information sessions. So we might be around autism or dementia. So we run online and face-to-face programs. But what carers love to do most is the fun things. We do tours. We go on care overnight workshops. We take people away to have a break. We do movie nights, anything you name it that can really help build that connection and provide that much needed break.
Okay, and who runs the peer support groups?
So I'm one of the peer support leaders, and I have a team that delivers these services, but there are lots of peer support programs across Australia.
Right, okay, beautiful. Can you think off the top of your head of an example of how peer support groups have worked, and maybe a great success story or a great outcome that you've experienced in your involvement with peer support?
Yeah, look, one of the biggest things that we often hear is the isolation. People feel so lonely, especially during COVID. That isolation really hit home. People were feeling really low, really depressed. We currently have a WhatsApp chat between these peer groups. And if I just scroll through the chat, the incredible things that people share about, oh, I've had a really hard day. And then just the positive affirmation and the support that comes through. And you later speak to them and you're like, you know what, I was in a really low point. And that group really helped me to get out of that and realize that I'm actually not alone, that I'm a part of something, and there are people around me that do get it. Because what happens when you're a carer, if you have friends who are not in that caring journey, who don't understand what it's like, they don't really get it. And then you don't want them to feel sorry for you. You don't want the sympathy. You want someone to really understand and happy to hear out. And so that collective and that connection and understanding amongst the peer group is remarkable.
And so does that peer group, does that sort of carry on for any number of years, or do people sort of drop in and drop out of the peer group, or is there like a core group of people that have known each other for quite some time and they stick with the same crew?
Yeah, look, it's a good question. It's a mixed bag. So there are those who it's depends on the capacity. So we don't put a lot of pressure on carers. This is supposed to be a great additional service, not another added task that they need to do. So what's happening is that they can come in if they like, and there is a continuous group what we like to have, because that connection's already been built. But if you go and you come back, people are always very welcoming and happy to have them join and drop out. And yeah, even just receiving emails and being part of communication is sometimes enough for people.
Yeah. And are they sometimes then geographically grouped, so that when you do have face-to-face catch-ups, people are living in the same region?
Yes, so we actually run facilitated peer support in our areas, specific areas of our region, for that reason. So people can then continue to meet if they want to outside of these peer groups. So we create that really lovely opportunity. But also for our online guys, they can be anywhere in Australia and still connect. There was a carer who said, oh, look, I'm going on holidays, but I'm going to join in from the Central Coast. So, so people, that's the convenience as well. And we really want to be person-centered in our delivery. So it's not a one size fits all. It's about, hey, how can we work together to make this work for you?
Right. And so I think we've probably already answered it, but just to be clear, with the counselling and the coaching, there's 6 sessions, or, negotiated more, I'm sure. But for peer support, you can participate in a peer support group for as long or as short as you need to.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no limits on that. Yeah.
Okay. And someone can be accessing all these different types of supports that the Carer Gateway offers. They could be accessing them all at once or one at a time. That again is really up to the individual's needs.
Yeah, individual's capacity. So just
Yeah.
something to keep in mind. For a carer, we often say, if you want to access peer support and counselling and coaching, perhaps maybe we just do a 2, and then once you finished one, you can, but peer support is always available. Counselling and coaching is very targeted to a specific goal that you may have.
Okay, cool. All right, beautiful. All right, I'm just trying to think of anything else that's come to my mind that I think might be something that people are wanting to ask. I don't think we've got any questions in the chat at the moment.
No,
But
the
really,
only thing, sorry to
go on.
interrupt you, the only thing that I just need to emphasize that there is no cost to these services, which really shocks a lot of carers, because we're doing things that can be quite costly. You know, taking people away on you know, overnight workshops to provide comprehensive program and respite, but the accommodation, the meals, the programs are all at no cost to carers, which is just an incredible opportunity to be able to give that back.
Just your side, do they encourage volunteers to come and work and work in your site as a volunteer to be able to do these camps and group activities and coffee catch-ups and those sort of things?
Yeah, we have students who provide, they complete student placement, and often the carer gateway space is a choice of theirs to be able to do it and sit in that program and really learn. And often they want to come and actually work with us after. But we also have volunteers who provide that additional support, and sometimes these volunteers are carers. We have carers who want to come in and provide care to other carers.
Okay, fantastic. So that's obviously an opportunity as well that can be investigated by someone who has an interest in this sort of thing. And to do that, they'd just reach out to your site and just say, look, I saw this Facebook Live. I'm interested in exploring some volunteering opportunities.
Yeah, it's a really warm and caring environment, and people want to be part of it.
Yeah.
Hence why I've been here for 11 years. It's really lovely.
Yeah, I imagine. I certainly get that sense from the last couple of webinars as well, as that the people that work for your site in particular are just so passionate about what they do and what you do. And yeah, you can absolutely see that just shine through your conversations. So, all right. So if somebody wants to get in touch with the Carer Gateway, we've got the links down the bottom in our comments at the moment. And it's a free service. It's very much at anybody who needs that little bit of extra support because they do find themselves in a caring role. They can just reach out, have a conversation, be triaged, I guess you can say, into what the most appropriate supports are. And really anybody can be identified as a carer. They can be as young as 5 years old and as old as 90, I suppose. So
100, there's no limit.
100. There's no limit. Thank you so much, Yara. Is there anything else you wanted to just mention before we finish up for today?
No, just that the Carer Gateway is a federally funded program designed to support carers across Australia who are unpaid carers, and there is over the phone, online or website that is available if they want to connect.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Yara. I've really enjoyed this series of webinars, and I do hope that everybody's had some takeaways from this. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, and please watch out for our next Facebook Live with, I'm sure, an equally as gorgeous and awesome quality operator as your side has been for us. Thank you very much, and have a great day.